Hey mamas, let's talk about the mom-able features on the Rezvani Vengeance. I'm body armored, and so is this vehicle. For even more protection, you have explosive underbody shielding, bulletproof glass, electrified door handles, military-grade run flat tires, and a Ram steel bumper. If anyone's following you, you have blinding lights in the front and the back, or a smoke screen. Plus my favorite, pepper spray. If you're picking your kids up from the mall, let them know you're there with strobe lights and your intercom. Hey Bobby, it's your mommy.
Is the American dream dead? It's a question that's been asked for decades, but is on the minds of Americans more and more as we watch firsthand as different privileges of traditional American life totally recede from our grasps. Things like owning a home, a single salary that can support an entire family, not being enslaved by medical debt. And on the flip side, we have totally apocalyptic and unnecessary innovations like this vehicle that calls itself a car. No, this is not a joke. This is a real vehicle you can allegedly purchase for $300,000. And this cringeworthy video by Mobile Mama, an influencer who rates cars for mothers and families, is a dystopian look at what happens when our concept of safety is so warped by technology, surveillance, and capitalism that we could end up doing so much more harm than good. I mean, look at this thing. Following in the vein of the Hummer, the Rezvani Vengeance, as the car is known, I can't even call it a car. It's a vehicle. The Rezvani Vengeance is giving people a taste of what it's like to live in a war zone, despite the fact that it's aimed at wealthy suburbanites. The car has steel bumpers, blinding lights, smoke screen emitters, and strobe lights. In other words, this company is scaring American consumers into believing that they are unsafe in their own neighborhoods. The American dream is alive and well, right?
If anybody out there is wondering why the housing market is still messed up, see all these blue signs? There's a whole brand new block of houses. Every single one of them's owned by the same company, and they're all for fucking rent.
What we have here is an entire block of unoccupied homes for rent, not for sale. And who owns these homes? Not individuals trying to make passive rental income, but private companies. Yeah, private companies are buying up homes in droves across the nation, renting them out for profit, taking the equity out of them, and then using that to buy more homes. It's a dystopian nightmare that many, if not most economists, are predicting will lead to a massive housing market crash across the country. For many people, forcing Americans into positions where they must rent indefinitely, which is fine and totally valid. But owning property is the single most beneficial way to build sustainable wealth. Over the past year alone, however, the average cost of a 20% down payment for a home in the country's 50 largest metropolitan areas has grown by 35% in 1 year. That means a whole lot of us aren't building wealth, which contributes to things like the amount of children we raise, which then contributes to population decline, GDP decline, so on and so on. But at least the job market is strong, right?
Talking about how f***ing sick a 40-hour work week is.
All of my blue-collar brothers right now are stifling a laugh that would just drain the soul out of that kid. Like, 40 hours. How many of you heard in your head, 40 hours? I remember my first part-time job.
People are busting their asses off at work with so little to show for it. In a country that once prided itself on the idea that if you work hard, you should be able to afford things like a car, a home, a safe neighborhood to live in. But it seems as if the American dream is becoming an American nightmare for many. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.